Congratulations on the film. I want to know what it was like to write this film, especially because I saw your short film, Have a Good Summer. Was this an extension of that?
Well, thanks for watching the movie, first of all. It was less of an extension and more, this movie came first, and Have a Good Summer actually started as research for Dìdi. I went to go find my old middle school yearbooks to just kind of get a better sense of, like, see if I could trigger some memories, see how people talked and how people dressed. And as I was flipping through that yearbook, it just kind of, I think, triggered different things, very, deep emotions and thoughts. And then it became that short film, which kind of just became a companion piece to Dìdi. I kind of say it as like, if Hags looks back at that, time period of the late 2000s and explores themes of adolescence and belonging and friendship, Dìdi explores similar themes through similar characters, but with a much heavier emphasis on family and is a more of a mother-son relationship.
Why is now the perfect time for this coming of age film?
I mean, just for me personally, I think everybody goes through this experience of growing up and entering your 20s. Everyone except him, because he's not 20 yet.
I'm never going to be.
He's never going to be 20. But I think you grow up and you look back and you realize all these things about your childhood or your adolescence and in ways and how things shaped you. And I think for me, when I looked back at my own childhood and growing up in the Bay Area, I realized a lot of things. I realized how unique it was to grow up in a very multicultural community. I realized, and I got to recontextualize a lot of the things that I think shaped me, in ways that were both good and bad. And I think in looking back at my own childhood and my own adolescence, I realized a lot of things that I felt like were personal and specific to me and my friends that I hadn't really seen in the movies that I love that explored the 13-year-old experience. And I think, as my filmmaker brain kind of turned on, in my 20s, I was like, oh, I think there's something here to mine that could hopefully be like a worthy addition to the canon of those types of movies, like Stand By Me, 400 Blows, in a way that felt personal and specific, but again, hopefully wasn't just personal and specific to me, that there was an entire generation of not just Asian American kids, but kids who grew up in the late 2000s, millennials who never saw this version of a movie on screen.
And Izaac, what was it like to be on the set with this crew? Was it kind of like a time capsule of the late 2000s?
Yeah, I guess you could say it was definitely like some sort of time capsule. I feel like you tried to give it like a little bit of like a time capsule feel, where like or I guess more or less it was more of just like everyone felt like super close together, so this is like to the point where it felt like a family. And just because of like the setting of the movie, for whatever reason, it just also felt like we were filming in the past, even though we weren't. I mean, technically we were, but I mean, it just overall, I think something that also did surprise me especially about filming in the 2000s, was like I'd say like when we had to do improv with Sean, messing up our slang was pretty difficult.
Deadass.
Low key,
bet. That was the hardest part on this movie. It was like, that take was great, let's do it again, just don't say deadass.
Yeah.
I'm also wondering, because skate culture is such a big part of the story, what was it like for you to learn how to skateboard for the film?
I fell on my ass a lot. I mean, besides that, it was pretty fun. I've never like really, after I like I think I fractured my wrist when I was like really young, like 4th, 5th grade, when I was trying to learn how to skate, and then I like never did it ever again because I was scared. And so this was kind of just like throwing me back into it. And like I'd say that I'm still like not the best skater in the world. Like I can like roll around a skate park, but like that's about it. But I mean, skating is fun, and I'm glad that I relearned how. And even if it wasn't for this movie, I still at one point probably would have done it.
So cool. And there are so many moments from the film that really stay with you. For me, it was the moments that Chris has with his family. Sean, what was it like for you to bring your real life family on board for this journey?
I mean, it was amazing. It was like, it was kind of in the design of the movie where I wanted not just the writing of it, but the production of it to kind of combine all of these different communities that I really love and bring them together in this sort of circus that's filmmaking. So that's my real family meeting my film family, meeting my hometown friends, and then really trying to create like one big new community. And I think for me personally, like a lot of my shorts have been about family and have starred, people I know and people that again, are my real family. And I think anytime that I can kind of combine those two worlds, it makes me a better, son. Being a filmmaker forces you to be open and curious and vulnerable, and ask deep questions about yourself, and to really, if you want the film to be good too, I think that's what I'm always drawn to in films. And I think in my day-to-day life, I'm not as open and vulnerable and sensitive and empathetic with my family especially. And so anytime I can combine those two worlds, I think the filmmaker in me forces the human in me to be better, and it closes that gap between mother, son, and son, grandmother, and forces me to kind of like be vulnerable with them in a way that I think is hard for me to do in my day-to-day life.
Are you more vulnerable now that you've had this project come out that depicts such a close and complex relationship with your mom? What was her reaction?
She loved it. She read the script, so she like gave not notes but thoughts on like how to make it better and deeper. Yeah, I mean, it's changed, but it's still a work in progress. Like
all families.
Yeah, all families are.
Yeah. Did the thought cross your mind that this could be the classic coming of age story that other people look to when they think about their canon of films? And how does that make you feel to think that audiences may resonate with this movie in that way?
I think the fact that this movie is, like, in my personal opinion, I feel like this is going to be such a gigantic hit. And I feel like that's actually just hit me, like, now in this past week, like, before the movie actually releases. Like, even when we're filming and stuff, like, I didn't actually fully realize that, like, oh, hey, I'm actually kind of in, like, a big movie or whatever,
I didn't either.
Yeah, I know, right? I was kind of just like, oh, this is fun. I'm having a good time with some friends. But I think now, like, in this past coming week, this is, like, actually, like, like, just socking me in the face. Like, this is big movie, do good, asshole, So don't talk bad about yourself like that. But, like, that's what my thought process is.
Don't talk bad about yourself.
So we're going to play a game in just a moment, but last question for you both. I heard there's a deleted scene that involves 99 Ranch. Can I hear more about the scene and like what happens in it?
It's not a very satisfying answer because it's like not a scene. It's like not a real scene.
Yeah.
It was like a snack montage.
That sounds amazing.
It's just a bunch of close-ups of snacks cut to like a really upbeat track, and it was like a transitional. I'll try and describe it if you've seen the movie. This is kind of a spoiler.
We'll keep this for after.
It was between the scenes where Joan walks into Chris's room and is like, and he's like watching a YouTube video. And that scene originally used to end with, I'm going to 99 Ranch, do you want anything? And he goes, oh, can I come? And then it cuts to this music drop and it's like all these snacks and Joan like knocking on her watermelon, and then it cuts to the park, and we put in the edit, it was like, what the hell is this? It just didn't work. It just didn't work at all, and it was like the first scene to go.
You have to put it on the Dìdi Instagram account.
Yeah, but we spent like 4 hours, 5 hours filming.
Yeah, it was almost a whole day. Of filming.
There was a bunch of shots of Isaac looking at fish because in like Chinese, there's like the whole aquarium in the back.
There's a scene where there's a shot where you actually made me lick the glass.
I just saw some stills of you like in a shopping cart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun. I always thought that was gonna make it into the trailer.
Yeah, that was cool.
Now that we've done, the standard interview questions, I thought it would be fun because Dìdi is set in the late 2000s. There's so much nostalgia in this movie. We're going to play a game called Top 8 or Hate. I'm going to throw some throwback trends and some cultural moments from that time period at you, and you tell me whether you love it enough to put it in your top 8, like your MySpace top 8, or you hate it. Custom ringtones, top 8 or hate.
Top 8.
Yeah, top 8.
Yeah.
I think they're cool.
What would your custom ringtone be right now?
Oh, man. Do you know Chocolate Rain?
Oh, my God.
Yes?
Like
I'm surprised you know Chocolate Rain.
Yeah, but like it's like, it's like how it's also like the Dr. Pepper song.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Dr. Pepper.
Oh, I don't know what that is. Motion City soundtrack.
Basic.
Wait,
Sorry,
I love
basic.
that. Okay, the next one is actually dining inside fast food restaurants. Top 8 or hate?
Top 8.
Top 8, yeah.
I still do it.
Where?
McDonald's with my homies.
Okay.
Like In-N-Out.
I don't know if that, I guess that counts. Yeah, that's
fast food?
Yeah.
That's definitely fast food.
It definitely counts. Digital cameras instead of phones. Top 8 or hate?
Top 8.
Appointment TV, top 8 or hate?
I'm pretty sure I used to do that when I was a kid, actually. So
Yeah, top 8.
top 8.
Top 8.
Yeah.
The Notebook, top 8 or hate?
Hate, because I don't know what it is.
You don't know The Notebook?
No.
Whoa.
You're in the movie, and you talk
Then
about
they
The
talk
Notebook.
about A Walk to Remember.
Oh, it's A Walk to Remember.
A Walk
That's
to Remember
my
is
bad.
top 1.
Okay, A Walk to Remember, top 8 or hate?
Also didn't watch it.
Top 8.
Hate.
We had a big discussion in the edit. I thought everyone had seen A Walk to Remember, like people, in our generation, and like it was like me and the editor were like, that was a big staple for us, and everyone else was like, nah. And I was like, what?
I wanted to be Mandy Moore.
Low-key, I live under a rock.
You were method acting.
I was method acting most of this movie.
Only Hope is a banger. That
Yes,
should have been our end
to
credits
this
song.
day.
But the Motion City one is better.
Yeah.
But
So many good ones. I think MGMT is in the trailer, right?
in the trailer.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. It was so
course.
fun to speak with you.
That was fun.
That was fun.